It's just a little pearl string that also is included. Yeah. But I have to show you. Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah. Daily versions of everything. Well, it'll be, yeah, it's not available. I can't get it because I always do. Yeah, it's easier that way. Yeah. If anybody wants to talk about it further, I'll be happy to.
I guess that's how it kind of. There's really no website. I'm just pulling your chain. Actually, there is a website, and the first thing that happens is you get that little WMF. So. Rock the house. So, Chaos Theory, Security Research, the guys here. We're happy to have them. We're very happy to see like other people getting together with friends and getting cool things done. That's what we try and encourage. Obviously, at DEF CON, we like to rant and we like to say the word "fuck" on stage a lot and get people hyped. We're a lot more mellow. We're a lot more mellow here at our own little con, and it's because we're really trying to get other people up in front of the community and give people a chance to show what they're doing. All good stuff. So I'll just toss this out because I'm being random, right? Or you random at least. Man, this has been the worst week. This has been the worst weekend for me. All right, enough of that. I'll let these guys talk. Please give them a round of applause.
All right, well, thank you everybody for coming. And momentarily, hopefully I'll have some slides for you here. No problem. Better? All right, so we are here today to talk about Anonym.os. Because no one needs to know. That's our tagline. I think it's also the tagline for Depends Diapers, but we weren't entirely sure when we hijacked it last night, so it went on the slide nonetheless. So I'm going to start out here. I'm going to give kind of a brief introduction to the group that we've got on stage, a little bit of background into Anonym.os, the idea, the concept, and then we're going to talk a little bit about why, how, what, and hopefully you guys will get to see a neat demo here at the end. So, who we are. On stage, we have Beth, we've got Archon, we've got Atlas, and we've got Dig Unix, a.k.a. Beth, Adam, Gavin, and Kevin. We are just a close-knit group of security researchers and general lunatics that have gotten together. We've got some pretty good ideas for some projects. This is the first one that we are publicly releasing, and we certainly hope you guys like it. So, show and tell. What is Anonym.os? What are we here to present today? Little bit of background. Anonym.os was a concept that I presented originally at Interzone in Atlanta back in March. At the time, it was more of an idea. It was totally proof of concept, and we talked about building essentially a automatically secured environment that would provide almost anybody with a easy way to securely, anonymously, and effectively browse the internet, search their porn, post controversial blog topics, anything that you want to do that you don't feel anybody else has the right to know about. So, Anonym.os in its form today, this is built on OpenBSD 3.8. It is a live CD. When we talked about this at Interzone, we talked about doing this in Linux, we talked about doing it in Mac OS X, we talked about doing it in BSD, and we chose OpenBSD, some of the reasons why you'll see later on in the presentation. What it is a secure environment. Again, the idea is for it to be usable by anyone. provides a full suite of applications, and by applications we're talking client applications here, browsers, chat clients, IRC clients, etc. It's designed to provide anonymity and encryption securely, out of the box, push-button fashion. You shouldn't have to do anything except turn it on and run with it. So, hopefully, this will be easy enough for your mom, assuming she has something to hide, and I guess that remains to be seen. What Anonym.os isn't. Anonym.os is not another pen testing, security, hacking toolkit. You will not find port scanners, vulnerability scanners, exploit toolkits, password crackers, etc. on the box. You will find some basic tools that might facilitate network diagnostics, but we're not trying to give you another suite of tools to do pen testing. There are enough live CDs to do that already. Again, what we're looking for is a client-based environment. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to the why, and I'm going to turn this back over to Beth.
Well, we all know why, pretty much. I think we all have reasons that, might be personal, or we might know a lot of people who have good reasons, but there might be things we don't think about very often that could be great reasons why. Thank you. Sorry. The environment as it is today is one of the reasons why. Kind of like a bad ex, it's insecure, it's hostile, and there may be heightened monitoring in a lot of places, like our country and other countries, by the government. Oh, I lost myself. There we go. But it's also the place, aside from all the hostility, where everybody works and shares ideas and buys and sells stuff, which is another reason why. Speaking of work, I'd like to give you some examples of obstacles that people face when they don't have anonymity. Annoying proxies. I don't know if you can see on the slide, but attempting to do research, Atlas, from his corporate network, could not get to Tor. Website. This is a problem. There's plenty of valid reasons why people would want to go look at ideas and at things on the web that corporations maybe are filtering, or that are being blocked by governments. It's also more networks, wireless networks, dubiously secured networks. There's networks all over the place that you may want to use, but you don't know anything about. Also, there's things like ISPs being required to comply with subpoenas. These are not just for criminal investigations, which people here may or may not be concerned with, but also people accusing other people of harassment on the web can slap a civil suit, and with an IP address, a date, a time zone, they can get your information, and they can sue you. All this leads us to the fact that you don't have to be paranoid to be worried about privacy. Everyone should be worried about privacy. And we've all known that for a long time, but now your mom and your grandma are worried about privacy. And that's what Anonym.os is designed to do, is to help them. The problem is they don't know how to use a lot of the tools that we do. This is a screenshot. I don't know if you can see very well, but a normal user like your mom or your grandma, or just the guy next door, wouldn't know how to protect themselves from monitoring, from limitations, from being blocked. And it would create a problem for them. I mean, if you think about it, do you really want your political activists to have to spend the time to become security experts? And that brings us to how.
I'm going to take you back through a couple of the design goals when we talked about Anonym.os, what we aim to achieve, and what Anonym.os should do if it's going to work successfully. So, design goals. Number one, first and foremost, this must be an inherently secure system. In order for us to effectively maintain our privacy, maintain our anonymity, we have to ensure that nobody's going to tamper with our box. Nobody's going to be able to get onto the device that we're using to try to maintain our anonymity, or it's immediately invalid. We must also be able to bypass restrictive filters. Like the proxy page that Beth showed, again, we don't really know what we're going to face when we walk into an unknown environment. Whether it's a hostile environment or not, We don't know if there's proxies in place. We don't know if there are transparent proxies, like here with the STSN network at the Marriott. So we have to be able to get around those in whatever ways possible, whatever means we have available to us, regardless of the network. The system must also be as quiet as possible. We don't want to plug our box into a network and have it shooting out packets all over the place. I hope to put a slide here showing a packet capture of a typical XP system booting up. I didn't manage to get it into the slides last night during our final additions to the slides, but the bottom line is you plug a typical Windows laptop into a network, and there's a lot of unnecessary and chatty traffic that shoots out for anybody with a sniffer to see. So, beyond that, we must also be able to ensure our confidentiality and integrity without having to require the user to perform configuration. Again, you saw the screenshot. There's a lot of tools that we can use here, but the average user is not going to know how to set up and configure Tor, set up and configure proxies, set up firewalls on their box, and do it in a manner that they can feel comfortable and secure with. And, of course, it must be easy to use. There were a number of tools available that we looked at when we started building the concepts for Anonym.os. This includes a number of anonymizing networks. I don't think anonymizing is actually a word, but we've used it extensively throughout the presentation. So there is, of course, Tor, and Dingledine is here in the audience, I believe, somewhere, or I know he's here at least at the con. Yes, he's up front and center, or front and right. So I expect many, if not most, or all of you know about Tor. Hopefully you saw his presentation earlier. We didn't make it to it, and hopefully we're not going to expose any weaknesses that we missed from his presentation during our talk. Nonetheless, there are a number of other anonymizing networks or overlay networks that can be used. You'll get some of the reasons behind why we chose the tools and the systems that we chose for Anonym.os. There are also a number of local web proxies that can help, that provide additional layers of protection. And really that was another goal for us, is truly defense in depth, or in this case, anonymity in depth. We want to make sure that we're not just choosing a system for providing anonymity. We have to do this from the bottom up, or from the foundation. This has to be a secure and anonymous system. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Adam and let him talk to you guys about building Anonym.os.
All right, so how did we get what we have as Anonym.os now? First, we had to start with the minimal base OS, which, and you'll see a little bit more in the next slide, we did choose OpenBSD as the base OS for what we've got here. We went in, we hardened the host, we implemented strong firewalling for both ingress and egress filtering. We, as we've already mentioned several times, we're using Tor for the onion routing, the anonymizing, and some, at least in the first few layers of the protocol, the encryption. On top of Tor, we were using Privacy, fairly standard for your browsing, gives us some additional privacy and anonymizing features. And then, of course, we promote and encourage the use of SSL, IMAP, HTTPS, wherever is possible, on top of everything else. And also, you know, of course, we're still looking at focusing on providing you with a usable system that you can get your tasks done, your daily network-based tasks done. So, OpenBSD, naturally, it's the easiest place to start from. Unlike other fabulous, wonderful Unix-based operating systems, a lot of our design goals were already accomplished by starting with OpenBSD. Anyone who's installed it or at least been to the website is familiar, one remote hole, and ever since its existence. So that gives us a great place. From there, another great, nice factor is the fact that from our studying and experience, there is not really a great, if at all, live CD-based OpenBSD system. There's lots and lots of how-tos that you can find if you Google really hard, and none of them work. As a side project of this, we're also going to be releasing the steps that we went through to create our base OS, which, go ahead and plug, was fabulously and wonderfully built by Fade, one of our members. Yes, absolutely. And naturally, using OpenBSD makes you a hell of a lot leader than any of you FreeBSD or Linux freaks. And then, naturally, from there, we went ahead and applied a couple of rules to modify the passive fingerprinting on the box. Since there's no open inbound ports, INBAP-based fingerprinting is not an option. So the only fingerprinting that we had to even consider was to approach passive fingerprinting. The design goal for what we hope to bring y'all today was for this to appear to be a Windows-based system from passive fingerprinting. one of the design goals within the anonymizing of the system was that we considered to appear to be in the majority of the systems already out there would help increase anonymity. In other words, when you're browsing, if you look and appear to be a Windows-based system, then you will blend in with the rest of the Windows-based systems on the network or from the server side on the rest of the internet. If you show up as an OpenBSD system, there's not going to be a lot of OpenBSD systems naturally on any network that you're on versus any other base system, and especially when you're comparing it to the rest of the entirety of the internet. Unfortunately, the CD that we have now actually just appears as an unknown fingerprint. It did not quite make it to the exact fingerprint that we needed to appear as a Windows system, but that still is a part of our design goals, is to again, just kind of blend in with the rest of the network. All right, so ingress-egress filtering. Ingress, simple, nothing. Nothing comes in. Unless you've already got a stateful connection that's been opened, the packet's dropped. Egress, we had to allow something so you can get out. And we had to allow things that would allow Tor to work. One of the advantages from the concept of Tor is that it can run on several different ports. There isn't an official standard mandatory Tor port that everything must run on for the directory and the unrouting services. So we had to pick and choose. We went with this, which gives us roughly 87% of the available Tor servers on the network now with these ports. And there's actually one more that should be on there, which is 9031. It was a bit of a debate within our group, though, because every port we add is another port that we're allowing traffic from, and we want to keep that list small. Another issue that we fought over with is allowing port 80 and port 43, period, because not allowing them is great. Again, by not allowing these types of ports, if someone in some way manages to get around the setup that we have for forcing the traffic through Tor, then all of a sudden they're allowed to do something that's not anonymous. Couple of reasons why we allowed ports 80 and 443 is, first of all, if you're on a network that only allows 80 and 443 traffic, a really restrictive corporate network, and we don't include that, then you're dead in the water. Additionally, there is a fair amount, maybe approximately 5% of the available Tor servers right now run on those two ports. And most importantly for port 80 is that of the 3 official default directory listing Tor servers, 2 of them run on port 80, and at the moment, the 3rd one's down. So if you don't allow 80, again, no matter what, at the moment, you're dead in the water. So that's where we came up with that. Next, all right, a list of the applications that we have installed on the CD. From a graphical standpoint, of course, we've got Xorg. We went with Xorg 6.8 and have a script on there, again, as a part of the live CD. You boot up, you'll get your GUI environment, it will find the available driver that we can use for your card, take you into a graphics environment. On top of that, we run Fluxbox. A couple of advantages are it's lightweight, so it's going to boot faster off of a CD environment, and it provides a very minimalistic interface so that doesn't get in the way of getting done what you need to get done. On top of that, we have, at least for now, implemented a Rocks filer to give you some GUI icons so that you don't have to figure out that you need to right-click to get something done. We went with Firefox, of course, and implemented a couple of things. We put Scroogle in as the default top right search option, which helps, again, re-anonymize some of the features within Google, give you a little bit better anonymity. We've got FasterFox on there now. Currently, with the live CD we've got now, I believe we've disabled the link pre-caching. That was another issue where we weren't completely... Basically, we were debating back and forth over the potential abuse of the Tor network by pre-downloading large amounts of links, but it's available for you to turn on, and because of the speed issues that may be available depending on the Tor servers you're using, it can actually help provide a much better browsing experience with the CD. Thunderbird gives you all of the email you need, and then Game gives you all of the instant messaging applications that you could ever need. Within these applications, wherever possible, we've enabled by default going through either Privoxy or Tor. So once you boot up, you launch up Game, you type in your Jabber, Google Talk, username, password, and servers, you hit enter, and immediately, by default, you go out over the proxy. Same thing with Firefox, you go through Privoxy. Within Privoxy, as you'll see later, we've done a fair amount of things to make you as anonymous as possible, taking only minor considerations where necessary to allow you to access certain services, because as always, you have a trade-off between availability of certain applications on the web and anonymity, because with certain applications, MySpace, Google Groups, they want to be able to track you or they're not going to let you on. From the command line side, we took both sides of this into consideration. It is a Unix-based CD. It's based on OpenBSD. We've got a fair amount of leakness built in, so links for your text-based browsing, again, pre-privoxied. MUT for your mail needs. GPG, whenever you contact a key server, already pre-configured to run through Tor to do that. SSH, also configured to run through Tor. And then Vim and GVim for any of your text editing needs. Now, a little bit of an overview for anyone who may have missed the tour or is just still curious about what it is that onion routing is and how it works. Basically, you have your packet. It needs to go out over the internet. It needs to get to your destination. Before it does that, onion routing makes you think of something with layers, an onion with layers, and you peel it back to get to the core. The core is your original packet. Each onion layer on top of that is a layer of encryption that specifies one particular hop along the Tor network. So, for example, here we've got 2, 4, about 12 onion routers. So you will have 12 layers of encryption on that packet before it leaves. At each hop, it peels off the outer layer using decrypting it, taking what's inside, which is another encrypted packet, passing along, meaning each point within the Tor hop is only able to see the hop before and the hop after. The first hop is going to see the source and the next hop, and the last hop is going to see the previous hop and the destination. But as long as you have at least 3 points in between, no one individual point will know both the source and the destination. There's a nice graphical example so you can see as the packet goes through, you peel off a layer at a time until finally the last hop sends it out over the net, and it's intended. Whether it's IMAP-S, then you've still got an encrypted packet. If it's just straight HTTP, then you have a totally open packet going to the target, and then it traverses back to you. Local proxy, we used Privoxy. We use Privoxy for a couple of reasons. Firefox's SOC support does leak DNS currently unless you use 1.5, the Deer Park. So it was important for that reason. Additionally, we went with adventurous mode on Privoxy and only disabled content cookies. We disabled content cookies to allow things like Gmail to work. It gives you some access to certain web-based log services that track cookies. Basically, what you get, what the browser lets happen is JavaScript and HTML-based cookies are allowed. Nothing else. Third-party content cookies are blocked, and the browser, the browser agent tag is rewritten to be Windows Firefox. We stuck with Firefox so that the many sites out there on the web that do content filtering and change the content based upon the browser will still work fine. We started with Windows IE and tons of shit broke. So next. All right. Most clients natively support encrypted protocols and SOCKS proxies. So HTTPS, IMAPs, POP-S, and SSMTP are great for running on top of Tor. For anything that wasn't already supporting SOCKS-based proxy or an HTTP-based proxy, we wrapped with DSOCKS. DSOCKS is an OpenBSD port-based solution that does an LD preload before the binary gets called and intercepts any outbound TCP-based connection and wraps it, recalling it through the Tor proxy. So any client or console or GUI-based application that did not already natively support Tor, we were able to wrap with DSOCKS and therefore provide Tor support for any binary, any network-based binary on the system, from NSLOOKUP host dig through to MUT, and then on up into actually all of the GUI apps, if I remember correctly, were able to natively support SOCKS. So it was pretty much a console-based need there for that. Again, we get back to, from the box, you boot up, you run, and Anonym.os natively, transparently, automatically runs everything through Tor. So nothing leaves this box that is not run through Tor and encrypted unless you install something on your own, find some way around the default setup. In which case, you go in, you go to Firefox, you disable the SOCKS proxy, or the Privoxy HTTP proxy, then that's your own damn fault. You know? Yeah, sure, you can reverse engineer the CD if you'd like, but by default, everything that comes out of the box is encrypted. One final note before I pass this along to cover some of our goals. I just want to cover one thing that we've additionally done is from the network standpoint, when you boot up, you're given the option to randomize your MAC address so that from your network entry point, even your hardware-based MAC address can be randomized. And we just went simply first byte 0, rest random. So you got, except for the birthday party rule, you've got a 1 in a trillion starting with the first client of MAC address odds for collision, which is very low. And you can come up with any validly assigned vendor ID, or you could come up with an unsigned vendor ID, but more often than not, it's going to appear to be a valid MAC address to anyone who watches MACs on their networks, but every time you boot up your CD, it's going to be different, and they're not going to be able to even locally track the same user using the same CD on the same hardware.
Just don't do it in VMware, it breaks shit.
Yeah, VMware and the Mac virtual PC, that shit doesn't work. All right, so Gavin?
All right, you guys will have to forgive me. I speak consultant natively, so if I start, please just throw the balls at me. All right, so what's next for us? Well, first of all, we'd like to honestly address a few issues. Tor can be a little bit slow sometimes. As any of you who've used it are probably aware. Based on the nature of onion routing, you get a slow hop somewhere in the middle, and it's going to be a bottleneck for you. OpenBSD is not optimized for live CD usage, especially when you start talking about seek and read times. There are going to be files all over the CD, and you'll hear your CD drive churning. And then the last thing, the distribution's not small. This is not damn small Linux by any stretch. This is sort of the opposite. This is damn big OpenBSD, and it eats up 540 megs or something like that without any Office suites or anything like that. Talking about this, of course, we get into our roadmap. What do we want to do next? The first things that we're going to try and focus on here are optimizing the performance. First, speed. We really want this to be as much as being on a natively installed operating system as possible. We want a compressed file system. We'd like to be able to get more apps in there. You know, right now, like I said, we don't have an Office suite. We don't have multimedia applications. We'd really like to get there. We'd like to be able to run Tor inside a Shroot on OpenBSD. That's definitely going to take a little bit of work from us. And then we'd like to boot from save settings to a USB stick. Right now, one of our issues is that every time you configure your mail client, you have to reconfigure it when you reboot. This is something that we'll definitely be addressing. And we'd like to mount local file systems like NTFS, ext2, stuff like that, so that you have access to your files when you're on your box. A few other things. We'd like a packaged emulator version, run it inside of QEMU on Windows so that you don't actually have to reboot if you're in a situation where maybe you can't put a CD in a drive and reboot the system without whoever's looking over your shoulder saying, hey, what the hell are you doing over there? We'd like a little more automation in the boot time. Right now, it does query you. We think the questions are easy. We tried to idiot-proof them as much as possible. Unfortunately, I'm sure somebody's still going to get it confused and is going to randomize their MAC address when they shouldn't, or something similar. So we would like to have just a, put me on the internet button. We'd like automatic evasion of certain egress filtering, maybe configuring some DNS tunneling, ICMP tunneling, something along those lines, automatically based on what the system can find as a way off of the network. We would like to incorporate some anti-phishing mechanisms, perhaps the toolbars into Firefox, plugins for Thunderbird, a few things like that. So here's the great part, what you can do to help us out. Number one, run a Tor server. Everybody should be doing this, whether you're actually going to use this operating system or not. This is a great idea. This helps out everybody, and it's easy. You can even get an iPackage for your Linksys WRT54G. You hit install, you're done. All right, it's easy. Contribute to Tor in the EFF. These guys are doing great work. They need your help. Help out. I didn't add this. We don't need any money. Shut up. Use encrypted protocols. The more that this happens, this is just like what we were talking about earlier in terms of trying to look like Windows. The more encrypted protocols that are out there, the less it looks weird when we're using one. So whenever you can, go ahead and use it. It adds minuscule overhead at this point when we all have 85 megabit internet connections at home.
It also means the first hop and the last hop in your onion routing still don't see your traffic, regardless of whether or not they know where you're going or where you're coming from. We need some internationalization and translation help. Besides speaking Southern and consultant, I can't really help you with anything else. So I'll maximize some synergies if you guys can help us with German, Dutch, Finnish, Chinese.
and tell us what you want to see. You know, we'd love to have some feedback. We've kind of grown a little close to this thing, and sometimes we don't see the forest for the trees. So if you help us out, that'd be great. Damn it! Well, fortunately, before I shift any more paradigms, we're going to move over to the worst idea ever. We're going to do a live demo on stage here. So
Before we do the live demo, I am going to tell you we do have some swags at the end, and I'm going to go ahead and model your swag. But we have shirts. We're going to toss out for questions at the end. They say tour up from the floor up. Anonym.os. So, good questions at the end of the presentation, and we'll toss out the swag. We also have CDs for at least the first 100 or so people in the room to grab one from us before you leave. Yes, and we'll provide links to download the ISOs and other appropriate pieces of data at the end of this.
I'm afraid of this.
Like that? Over the top?
We are going to blow shit up. All right. Hey, dude.
All right.
Take that. All right, for everybody that didn't get to see me bust my ass down there, my leg hurts really bad right now. Oh. There goes the neighborhood. All right, let's see if we can plug this in. Awesome. Hey, dude, what's presentation on projector? Dual screen, like that one?
Yeah, I think so, because that was otherwise you don't.
Woot. All right, so we're going to start this in VMware. This is basically just going to boot the Anonym.os ISO that is on the CDs up here. Let's see. This one, it looks like we're 1.7 gigahertz and probably like 512 megs of RAM. Yeah. Yeah, I think I do. Yes.
Yeah, it'll give your CPU a little.
Yes. Okay. So
Honestly, the performance differences are not really that great.
go to full screen.
CDC type is going to be your friend.
Oh no, dude! Hey! Sweet. All right. So this is us booting up OpenBSD. Yes, we're working on a Mac version because we're all Mac people up here. But with the new Intel Macs, we'll. I'm trying to keep them for myself. All right, so let's see here. Woo! All right, so this is our setup. Huh? Yeah, okay, so this says Anonym.os. No adware, no spyware, no viruses, no worms, no worries. Yeah, exactly. Press any key to continue, so we're going to hit enter. The next one, would you like to create a password or have one generated for you? Basically, I'm just going to press C and create one called Holy Shiat. All right, the next is we're going to set the time zone for anybody that's accessing any kind of NFS. Man, this cord is tight. All right, so we're going to set it. It asks you USA or GMT offset. I'm going to say USA, and then F for Eastern, but you can pick just about anything that's real. For security purposes, we can randomize the hardware address assigned to your computer, the MAC address. This can cause problems in VMware and virtual PC. Would you like to do this now? I'm going to say no because we are inside of VMware. Automatically configure the network, DHCP. I'm going to say yes. Or you can say no and specify anything that you want. Let's see, VMware. We can say, we also ask which environment you want to run in, either windowed or command line. I'm going to say windowed because it's pretty. So here's us getting a DHCP address from our local DHCP server. And the spew. And... there we go. All right, so... it says Chaos Theory, Security Research, Anonym.os. Those are not pictures of any of us.
Okay, from here, we have icons at the bottom for people that don't understand Fluxbox, but you can right-click and we have a menu set up. Basically, it says web browser, email, instant messenger, and command prompt, leading to Firefox, Thunderbird, Game, and eTerm. We also have an advanced menu where if you would like to pull up eTerm and go to any of the other ones, we have Xterm. In browsers, we have, Lynx, Mail, we have Mutt, IM, we have our SSI, and FTP. We forgot to change it. Uses NCFTP, but sweet. We have editors, Xedit, Vim, and file utilities. We have Midnight Commander. So let's pull up the web browser. That shit sucks.
City was big enough.
Yeah.
What's that?
That would have taken a DVD.
Yeah.
Your mom?
Oops. All right, so this, when you open up the browser, it brings you to our README file, basically saying what you do on the interweb is your responsibility. Don't be a dumbass. Donate to the Tor project and EFF, because without them, we wouldn't have this. Run a Tor server. Basically, donate your OC12 to us, because we'd like that. And let's see, please do not use BitTorrent, Direct Connect, LimeWire, Napster, because that shit's dumb. So let's pull up a web page here, just to show you it's working and that it's going through Tor. What's up? Yeah, go ahead.
One of the other things that we did implement.
That's happybirthdaybyron.com. Today's his birthday. We also have another one.
We also, if you bother to go in and check your etcresolve.com file, it points to localhost because we have a local daemon running that runs all DNS through Tor.
I forgot to do this.
That was one of the issues we did not have to take into consideration for handling for DSOCs. All your DNS is run through Tor over the socket proxy.
This is granny-trannies.com. That's a picture, I guess, of Laura Sletzinger. But, yeah, I can't believe I actually bought that domain. It's pretty awesome. Okay, so, yeah, let's go to IP Chicken. We'll see the external address that we're showing. CICK.com. What's that? Sweet. Control T. So we can do that. I can't type. My hands are shaking. All right, so this shows us going out of snowcrash.org, which is definitely not where we are at. It shows us in the browser tag for the user agent, it shows us as being a Windows box, basically XP running Mozilla 5.0, which is Firefox 1.5, which we're using 1.06. So we just wanted to keep it so if any website did some kind of content where they sent it to specific browsers, that we would actually get something that worked rather than something that looked like crap. So here's ironporn.com. I don't know what's going to come up. Sloppy and showing some leg. Fuck it, whatever. I don't care.
We're on tour.
Yeah. Wow. If you could only see behind this podium what is happening, it's awesome. So we also have the, let's see, this is Scroogle up here in the upper right-hand corner. So you can search for Google. Let's see what happens. Basically, this scrubs anything outside of Google, so they cannot track us. A couple of other things that we've added in. We have Google, Yahoo, Amazon. We have Clusty, which is a kind of like a clustering search engine. If nobody used it, you can search, and then on the left-hand side of the bar, it pulls down, like, it kind of groups all the links, and then you can expand from there. It's kind of cool.
Neither Clusty nor Scroogle will track you in the same way that Google do.
Google is just a scraper, so it is the direct Google results, but they're not coming from your box and you're not getting tracked as you perform.
Yeah. And also inside of customized Google, we've added I guess we enabled some kind of switch where it has a wayback link. So any web page that's not coming up, you can use the wayback link and look at prawn that has been taken offline. Exactly. So I can get on a game here just to show you, I guess you guys, another little thing. All this is going through Tor, so go ahead and sniff it. I don't give a fuck because you won't see it. Also, I've been checking my online banking this whole time, and if anybody was looking, maybe you'll see it. Not. So I also registered. This guy is Tay Prawn King. I can't believe it wasn't taken. Seriously. Come on. Where's my carf? It's from the dirty South. Represent. That's how we roll. What's that? No, this is actually going into AOL because I like them. That is my ISP. Wait, I don't know. Has anybody used Tor over AOL on a 56K connection? I don't know. So, movie phone. Roger, somebody? Awesome. So, that's actually me online and on movie phone. I don't even know what I can do here. New. I don't know if it responds. I've never movie phone. Hi there. I'm the new movie phone bot. I can find movies anywhere. That's it for nudies. Hell, I don't even know Goonies. Enter a valid 5-digit zip code. Where are we at here? I don't want to put that in. Somebody will track us. 78906. Why not? I don't know. Has anybody ever used this before? Movie site. I think we have links set up, so it should open up the web browser. 90210. That's awesome. Anyway, I don't know. Fuck this thing. What piece. All right. So anyway, so you can log into Instant Messenger. One thing I will tell you when you use Tor, log out, because if you just close the screen like I just did, I'm still logged in for some reason. I don't know. Like Tor, it's not shutting down the connection, right? I don't know what the deal is, but I've been online for like 36 days now, and I can't get it to turn off. So if you're instant messaging me and I'm not responding, sorry. Let's see here. What other cool shit can we do? Another thing that we're planning on doing is adding Enigmail into Thunderbird, so everybody can use their GPG keys along with Thunderbird, which is cool. Because right now I can't get any of my email or look at it. Yes.
Did you guys do anything to allow people to plug your fob in while this is running so you can get your keys off or your known hosts or anything like that?
Right now, it actually does read some file systems, natively, but
Unix friendly.
yeah.
It will detect it, but next version we not only hope to be able to, in the future version, be able to let you bring it up and just automatic for you, but provide a simple way to just sync the home directory or something to allow you to get everything for you. But at the moment, no, it doesn't do any of that for you.
And while you're thinking about it, work on adding the ability to have encryption on your fob.
No, this
Yeah, especially since that's
What's that?
why don't we just move straight on to
Yeah, I think it's a great time for Q&A because I think we're
Yeah.
down to about 10 minutes. So
Sweet. Questions? Hook it up right here. Nah.
Deal with corporate proxies.
How do we deal with corporate proxies?
out of the box, if the corporate proxy is transparent, we do allow 8443 to work. Another future design goal that we've got earmarked, we've got software that will allow us to proxy chain from Tor through a proxy with authentication to be specified. It's not built in currently, but that's it will happen soon because that is a major consideration.
Tor handles that, so you just have to figure out how to configure it. So
Okay, well then you can do it out of the box.
your root password and your user password. You're logged in by default as the A9
Oh,
user.
yeah.
Both passwords are synchronized. So although you can't log in root immediately for the GUI, you can sudo or su to root using the same password that was either generated at boot time or that you set.
And the only things that sudo will allow you to do without a password is alt, shutdown, and reboot.
Awesome. Right here. In the jacket.
I was curious about the wireless setup wizard. Is there some sort of
The,
mom-friendly wireless?
the wireless setup wizard, what does it look like?
What happens with this boot setup is once it comes up, it looks at the cards and it detects if you have wired or wireless cards. If you only have one type, it picks the first one. If you have both types, it says, would you like to use wireless or wired? You pick one, it picks the first on the list. If you pick wireless, it asks you for the ESSID, which it calls network name, and then in parentheses says ESSID, and then it asks you for the network password, or in parentheses, WEP. And it does allow you to just hit enter for any first available wireless, and that's it. We do not support restricted or pre-shared key mode, and we do not support WPA out of the box, but depending on your familiarity with OpenBSD, you can take it wherever you want.
Yes. What's that? Where? In the back. I don't know. Sure, right there. Woo! It's Al. Yes, that is.
Any thought given to running off of USB key? And it's actually in the roadmap. It's on an earlier slide, but it's just one little bullet point. But yes, that effort is already underway. So it's something that we won't put a date on, but it's something you'll see sometime soon.
Wait, one thing that this whole group forgot to say was astronomical, because they had the astronomical conference here. And I told everybody to do it, or I was going to shit stash them.
That was a cosmic fuck up.
All right, right here with the glasses.
As many forces as you can so you can prevent the scan attacks, but can you prevent the layer 2 scan attacks, that is the network card level attacks?
Can we prevent network card level attacks via like layer 2?
What types of attacks?
ARP scan, that is, if I send the ARP broadcast,
That does like ARP scan? Yeah.
you know we will respond and we'll make clear that this know the
Like ARP spoofing? Like ARP spoofing and MAC cloning?
scanning. That is, if I send the broadcast message, who has
I picked the wrong person.
No, I mean,
Lost. Sorry, I fucked up.
we do, if you're asking if we allow ARP replies, yes. Yes. I'm not sure if we could get the network to work without it.
But bear in mind again, by default, if you're booting up off the CD and you randomize the MAC every time, it's going to be a real pain in the ass for somebody to do much beyond a single session. So.
and you randomize it.
Yes.
We
Yeah, we randomized the Mac.
It's not forced, but you have the option to randomize the MAC on boot up.
Okay, right here in the white shirt.
Do you support installed hard drive or just
Do we install the hard drive?
Now, and that's not much the plan for the future. One of the ideas is for it to be totally based off of a CD. Potentially USB.
Something portable.
We want something that's not only portable, but that doesn't leave a lot of spaces. Internet cafe and keeping it fairly as anonymous as possible.
Sweet. Okay, right here in the jacket.
how do you not look suspicious on corporate network running?
How do we not look suspicious?
There's one of the things we notice while watching traffic out of our bot is, especially if it goes over port 443, which if you're running on a real restricted corporate firewall, that's about the only port you're actually going to get out on. Is it appears to be valid SSL traffic. So basically that if
Right.
you're running some really good, really comprehensive SSL-based proxy that just so happens to not prevent only HTTP traffic, which is in the water, they might notice if they try to man in the middle of your SSL attack that you have SSL traffic inside. Otherwise, it will appear that you're just constantly talking to an HTTPS.
Right back here in the gray shirt.
We're out of shirts, guys. Sorry. So swag's over except for CDs.
Yeah, this was a rush job and it cost us a lot of money. So, all right.
I was asking if your group supports USB donors and whatnot, is there a chance that the idea of an encrypted file on there is going to be a possibility?
Encrypted file system on the USB drive. Are we looking into
Right,
that?
that's one of the things that, yes, if we have USB-based drive, it probably would read that method only.
Did you hear that?
Barely.
He said that basically when we do implement that, that's probably going to be the only way that we implement it. We don't want somebody reading anything that we have on the CD.
When we go USB, we're probably only going to do it by
By encryption. Okay, in the black. Right here. Yeah. All right. Hey, hold it down, man. We got CDs. Chill. It's all good. You can download the shit from SourceForge in a little bit. Come on. Sit down. Hold on. Hold on. What? Question right here, dude.
It's farther out. Whatever we get the most requests for. If everybody wants something to grab images off the digital camera, we're going to do it. If everybody wants, streaming media, one of the problems that we face is that a lot of the streaming media, for instance, is UDP, which Tor is not going to provide us anonymity tools. So we're thinking about ways to handle that, but bottom line is, again, it's going to be based on requests. So we're going to see what everybody thinks and likes.
And one of the things we're balancing is that with it being a CD-based drive device, that it will not write to a mass storage hard drive-based device. We're not designing this to be something that would necessarily use all day, every day. So it would be most likely something that our parents would balance between regular camera-based accounting, QuickBooks stuff, and then separate anonymous specific browsing.
Tape problem. Anyway, I think one right here in the back. Right.
One of the things that we've already thought about is the reverse side of what we're doing, the corporate side. How do we stop Anonym.os? And it's really pretty simple. Have a good corporate policy. Don't allow non-web-based traffic. The ports are right there. They're the most common Tor ports. Block Tor. Secondly, have a good web proxy with good web SSL proxy using inspect all of the HTTP traffic. Tor, when it communicates over port 80, hey, that's not really web traffic. There's no valid HTTP anything. Same thing when it talks over port 443.
Tor only
Well,
two protocols, HTTP and SSL.
Right, but over port 80, it's SSL.
No, it's HTTP over 80, SSL over 443. Now, it looks for web pages that look an awful lot like Tor directories, so you can look at content, but the protocol itself is
It's true.
Okay.
He wrote it. He told you.
That's right.
Booyah!
So
Anyway,
don't do bad things with Anonym.os. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Which is
Yeah.
part of the reason.
Do research.
And if you're really paranoid, you still need a tinfoil hat, you still need condoms, and you should probably retain a lawyer.
And there's some AstroGuide out in the hall. Anyway, that's it. Thank you, Workcast Theory. We'll be outside.
No, absolutely not. We just, to be honest, because of the fact that again, seek times will affect performance, and because of the timelines and doing a demo on stage, you're going to see much more noticeable. I mean, to be honest, doing testing, so we got a P3-400. On the P3-400 box, it takes probably a solid 60 seconds to start X, to bring the GUI up. It probably takes a solid 60 to 90 seconds for Firefox to come up. So for the sake of the demo,